We know we ask a lot from our patron and support network, and we are always so grateful for your generosity. In these challenging times, it's even harder to raise the funding we need to serve our community and achieve our goals. So we're always looking for new ways to maintain our revenue without adding additional burdens to our supporters. Today, we're excited to share a great opportunity that can really help our community and requires no additional out-of-pocket from you. We've partnered with the Liberty Company Insurance Brokers and their Liberty Cares program. Liberty Cares is simple. You already make monthly payments for your insurance needs, whether it's auto, home, or for your business. For every line of insurance you move to Liberty, they will donate 25% of the commissions they receive on your policies back to our cause. And under this special partnership arrangement, that donation will come to us again and again every year you keep your policy with Liberty. Often, you'll be able to move your insurance into this program simply by signing one form. It's that easy. The Liberty Company is one of the nation's largest insurance brokers, and they've won a number of recognitions for their excellent operations and workplace culture, so you can rest assured that you will be well taken care of. If you would like to learn more about how this new partnership with Liberty can help turn your insurance dollars into much-needed funds for our community, please visit libertycompany.com/libertycares, or shoot them an email at libertycares@libertycompany.com. And please be sure to let them know that you're part of our community so that they will credit the benefit of your policies back to our organization. Your ongoing support is much appreciated, so thank you in advance.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another mental wellness check-in with Navah and
Chrisa.
And we're so happy to be here. I'm so excited about our guest today. We all need this, don't we?
Yes, definitely, especially this week.
So today we are having the amazing autism mom and nutritionist and just wonderful lady. I've known her for almost a decade, I think. And Elena, her daughter Elena, is one of our kids that come to the social events.
She's been to our center in the old days. She was here for social activities.
I was just saying the other day to Spencer that Elena and Spencer were one of my first ever girls clubs way back in the Chabad days. So that seems like 20 years ago after everything that's happened. But I want to bring Maddie out and she can kind of give us her qualifications and everything. I always mess up the letters next to somebody's name. So Maddie, let's bring you on and we're very happy to have you here and help us kind of get parents back on track. I mean, the quarantine 20, as everyone always says, or some people say it's the quarantine 10, some people say it's the quarantine 20. But I mean, we're all eating more, we're all drinking more, especially the drinking.
One of my favorite things is that everyone should start wearing a mask in the house because we're going to the refrigerator and eating so much. It's not about COVID, but it's about protecting ourselves from the refrigerator, which is my thing. I work from home as well, and I have really botched it with my nutrition and my wellness, trying to get back on track.
I hear you. It's, the quarantine 15. The people that I see either have that issue or it's the opposite, that they're just not eating, or they're eating the wrong things and they're not feeling well, and that's exacerbating the stress and anxiety of it all. So everybody's experiencing something. I could tell you that with all the people that I talk to, everybody is experiencing some some stress, some anxiety, where food is one of the calming factors. And so you're not alone. You are not alone.
For me, it's not so much the food. It was the fact that I think, and I know so many other parents who have said this, that one glass of wine becomes three, and so I made a commitment because and Jill and I were just talking about this the other day. It was the first month, or maybe the first month and a half of quarantine, where it was just like the anxiety was 11. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know if you could get it from airborne. It was, we have I have a immune compromised person who's living in our house, and I was just terrified. And I'm not a drinker, but I found myself drinking a little bit more and more. And it's like, I get migraines. It didn't make me feel good. So I haven't had any booze at all for about 2 months, and I feel so much better. I feel so much better.
Yeah. Well, there are definitely, ways that you can use food and nutrition to help manage stress so that you're not, so that that glass of wine doesn't become the pot at the end of the rainbow. That's all you're waiting for, at the end.
Right.
Of the So, and separate and apart from that, what I tell a lot of clients too is that to really find the joy in the day, to find something that is really going to fill you and engage you and calm you, and whether that's nature, meditation, but to put that at the top of your to-do list so that, because by the end of the day, we're all depleted. And then we've got that peripheral generalized anxiety that's, percolating there. And that way, by the time we get to the end of the day, that, that glass of wine or whatever it is, isn't going to be the magic bullet, because, having that every once in a while it's fine. And there are actually some health benefits, to having a glass of wine, but relying on that, we all know is a slippery slope, and it's tricky. And then having too much of that then leads to, a heightened stress response the next day, or over time, because 100%. You're relying on certain things within your system that, that cause stress, that over time it becomes harder to manage, whether it's by food or, or other things.
Maddie, working from home, so I do telehealth sessions, and I'm stuck in a chair, and then in between clients, I will get up and I will go directly to the refrigerator, and I just literally open it and just kind of stare at it. And I notice my level, I have to keep myself in check because it's anxiety or boredom or just complacency sitting in the same chair all day doing telehealth sessions. And in the very beginning of quarantine, the gym was closed, and I had to find alternatives to exercise. And so I was doing stairs in my neighborhood. I was finally doing the bike. But the one thing that kept coming back to me is I had to retrain my brain and go, what am I hungry for? What really is going on here? Am I bored? Am I, isolated? Am I feeling anxiety? And really ask myself that question first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much mindlessness, and for so many of us, it's that getting up and, and just automatically, without even thinking, going to the pantry, going to the refrigerator. Part of it is that we're looking for something calming. We're looking for something soothing. We could just be looking for a busy mouth. We just want to keep moving, because that helps us. For many people, that's actually an issue. So that, that piece of mindfulness, that's so great that, obviously you do that, Chrisa, because of, your profession. But I mean, I also, tell my clients to do that. Just take a moment, and, before you're going to the refrigerator, take a moment, take a couple of deep breaths, ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Is it a hug? Is it, I really need to stretch my body? Is it, I just need to shut off the computer and space out, or, do something completely different? Because this becomes very habituated, and what happens is, we don't even, before we know it, we've eaten a bag of chips in the pantry, and we may not even be aware that we're doing it. So that's one piece of it for sure. And the other piece of it is, so really being mindful, right? And then the other piece of it is planning to help ourselves, so that if we do have a lapse in that mindfulness, because who really, can be mindful all of the time? We all strive for it, right? We're all working toward that. But it's a process and it's a practice. So planning really helps. So, having healthy snacks around, whether that's, hummus and veggies, or, it could be some healthy bars or nuts and seeds or fruit, with maybe a little bit of yogurt. Having those kind of at where you're going to reach, what you're reaching for, put those in those areas where you reach, because what you can reach for is what you're going to go for. And obviously,
especially if you have a time constraint, if you have a special needs child, or
exactly.
Chris is
I
pointing
was
at
just
me.
going to say, she is the queen of the snack
I
bag.
always have the healthy snacks. I think actually Maddie taught me a long time ago. I have a super sensitive stomach, which Maddie's helped me a lot with. But as the mind-body connection, as my stress has increased, my stomach has gotten just into a constant flare-up. So my old standby of raw almonds, which I actually read, and I think we have an image. Do we have an image of some ideas for anxiety? There's certain foods that help promote de-stress.
Calmness.
So a lot of these foods I can't even eat because I have stomach issues and I couldn't eat that. But I know that there are so many things that as a parent who, we're working, a lot of times we're working with the kids at home. I know I'm doing that and it's driving me bananas. So we have a time constraint. So like Maddie's saying, even if you only have a few minutes every night or when you have a few minutes, make a few easy snacks that you just throw in your refrigerator and put
them in your Tupperware, in your bag.
I constantly have stuff with me because, to me, if I get a migraine or anything like this, it can really mess with my day.
Right.
So I always have they call me the bag lady because I always have so many bags full of things.
I always go to her. If I need something, I'll go to Navah.
I always have.
She's got to reach in her bag and her bag of tricks and pull it out.
Well, I mean, and I have all the kids. They're constantly coming in my purse, so I have to refill it.
Right.
We
have our kids and they have what they like, so we may have it around, which may not be the foods that we find healthy for us, or wanting to reach for ourselves. A couple of things. So one, there are a few bars that I like that I feel are semi-healthy, or reasonably healthy actually. One is Elemental. Does need to be refrigerated. Navah, that may not be for you because it's got a lot of nuts and seeds in it, but it's a whole foods bar, not very much sugar. Some of the Tosi products, TOSI, are low in sugar. I always look for less than 10 grams in a bar. So if we're looking for something, we don't have time to put something together. I always look for that. And Trader Joe's, all the markets have those little bags of nuts and seeds as well.
Yeah.
Those are perfect snacks. And if you feel like that's not going to be gratifying enough, you can throw in a few dark chocolate chips. It's not going to be the end of the world.
That is right, because so many of those bars, you think you're doing something good for yourself, and that's really no different than a candy bar. They really are.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. I had difficulty seeing the list of the foods. What was it about those foods that would add in calm or sort of be what's the ingredient or the enzyme that make it less stressful?
I wouldn't, I don't remember exactly what was on there. I saw avocado. I remember, I could tell you really briefly, what you want to look for. And it's pretty simple. I mean, we want to eat 90% of our diet. We want to have foods that are whole, real foods, because one thing we really want to do is to provide our body with the raw materials that it needs to make our calming neurotransmitters, keep our body out of the fight or flight, into more of the rest and digest response. And we're going to get those raw materials from whole foods. So if 90% of your diet comes from that, and that's a variety of fruits and vegetables, and mostly plants, I would say, whether you're an animal eater, or not, those provide the important vitamins and minerals that are the helping hands, I call them, in creating our neurotransmitters. You want to eat clean, lean protein, because protein breaks down into amino acids that are the building blocks of our neurotransmitters. So we want to give the source materials to create, GABA, which is a calming neurotransmitter, serotonin. And I think I saw some poultry on there. There's tryptophan and serotonin.
Right.
Why they had that.
It was salmon, almonds, milk.
Yeah. So milk has tryptophan.
Avocados.
What's in the oranges?
That's a good question. That could just be, lots of vitamin C. We deplete vitamin C when we're stressed. So if you're really in stress mode, make sure you're eating a lot of vitamin C. So we get very depleted in vitamin C. We get depleted in magnesium. We get depleted in Bs. The salmon, I would love to, give like a moment, a hurrah moment to the salmon, because I think what that's representing is, our brain cells are made up of 60% fat. And that's something to really think about. So we want healthy, non-toxic, anti-inflammatory fats to live in our brain cells. Right. So we want to increase our intake of cold water fatty fish, if you're a fish eater, like wild salmon. Arctic char is another good one, because they have those omega-3s, which are anti-inflammatory. And we want and they make our cell membranes really fluid, so we want those living in our brain cells. You can get them from vegetarian sources too. It's not as efficient, so you can get them from like flax, chia, hemp, walnuts. Those all contain those same kinds of omega-3 fatty acids, but we don't manufacture them ourselves, so we actually have to eat them. So if you don't eat like cold water fatty fish once, ideally twice a week, then some people like to take a supplement. And then other fats that are really good, avocado is on there. That's a great fat, very anti-inflammatory. Olives are fantastic. Nuts, seeds, coconut is a really good fat too.
So let me ask you something though. You just said that the omega-3s don't have to come specifically from animal source. You could still find them in vegetables.
Or the nuts, the walnuts, the flax, the chia.
Yeah, there are a few.
Now, I'm getting a little confused. What is the fish oil good for? Because I was told to take that, and that might be helpful, but it smelled so bad. I did not even want to take that.
It's really hard to take. I could never take oral fish oil.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are some that don't have that really fishy, nasty smell and flavor. So maybe we can find you a better one. But so these omega-3 fats, which are very anti-inflammatory, they're the fats, again, that we want living in our brain cells. The best, most efficient source are cold water fatty fish, like wild salmon, okay? We can also get those fats from vegetarian sources, like walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. Our body doesn't use them as efficiently. So if you're just getting, those the omega-3 fats from those sources, you may not be getting enough. And many people don't get enough because many people don't eat salmon twice a week.
Yeah. So I was going to say the majority are not doing that 90-10.
Yeah.
Maddie, the biggest question people have, and you and I can deal with this on a personal level. We have our kids, they're now kind of become forced to be less active. And the kid, that's a big problem for kids who are hyper focused to electronics or the computers or whatever. What kind of tips do you have for these kids a lot of these kids, it's very difficult for us to get them to eat these kind of foods that we're talking about. I mean, it's very difficult unless, they're older and you can reason with them. I mean, any insight, I think parents are desperate at this point when you have kids who have been basically in this kind of like hold mode for almost 5 months now.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. And we struggle with that, here as well. I think I could tell you what we do, but we may have a little bit of a different household because of what I do. I mean, we only keep certain foods in the house.
Yeah.
And
that's my fault. Hard. I admit it.
That's hard. I get it for a lot
really
of people.
Hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reward system, that you for getting up, for exercising. I mean, we've done that in our house as well. If your child really, if it just creates too much tension, to set up a reward system, either, for exercising, because it's really about, to me, it's about giving them the opportunities to get out and, helping them to do that, which isn't always easy at all. So, for the kids where, it's just too much stress and there's too much tension, create too much tension in the house to help them. I would recommend that they take, a good multivitamin, maybe some fish oil, which, is helpful for the brain as well. We set up, some reward systems for our daughter who was, in an unhealthy place, weight-wise. It worked for her, but I recognize that wouldn't work for everyone. Again, have, healthy snacks accessible. You can have like an anything drawer, like an anything, place in your refrigerator, or these are anytime foods. You can eat.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Those are anytime foods. And then to the extent that you can, I recommend getting the enemy out to the extent that you can. Again, because what you will reach for. And to the extent that you can too, the meals that, if you eat together as a family, really making sure that, you're providing, healthy, foods with, vegetables and fruits. Again, recognizing that, not everybody, there are sensory issues, there are all kinds of issues that people face. And I think it can be really challenging. So I think, getting them moving is a really huge part.
And each family has their own struggles. So you have to do what is best for your own family. But I think if the easiest step forward is to get them moving. And for me, for Matt and I, to have the kids doing stuff that they just think is fun.
Yes.
Eddie loves the water. So anytime I get him in the water, it's a positive. But he definitely has gained a lot of weight in this short amount of time. And so for me, my biggest thing is our grown daughter has moved back in with us. We have all these other kids, and there's stuff coming in and out of the house. So my biggest challenge, like you say, is getting rid of the enemy. So I think even if you start slow.
Yeah. And I think too, and if you can engage them, in the process, make it a family thing. Like we're all in this together. We're all stuck in the house. We've all, developed unhealthy habits. Let's try to break this and, engage them. I mean, I don't know if you're going to the market or whether you're shopping online, pick some healthy items and have them, choose, here's some, have them, choose what they'd like and call it a brand experiment. And, you bring in new things and,
I think a lot of people too are cooking more. So one of the things that I think is successful, even if you start really, really small, is to, depending on the child's ability, letting them actually help you in the kitchen. And
that's a really fun activity.
It is.
To
it's really
keep them involved, their brain working. I mean, really, recipe is math skills as well. And first, second, third, first this, then that, and you just have to go through all the steps, and it's really fun.
Definitely. So, I still want you, Maddie, to come and do a Corona kitchen for us.
Yeah.
We've stopped during camp, but we're going to restart Corona Kitchen. And it's every Friday where people are just literally from their homes, giving us one of their healthy or not so healthy sometimes recipes.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And any way you can engage them, knowing that, this is not going to work for everybody, but, any way you can engage them, paging through books or online, finding a recipe that they can get excited about that also, is reasonably healthy is a great place to start. Then they can make a list and, they can, depending on how households are managing the virus and what's going on, you're either going to the market or they can help to order this online.
Right.
But I think that, kind of starting from scratch, let's pick something fun, and it's a project. And what
else has been really nice too is that a lot of people have talked about taking up hobbies. And some people have really gone into gardening, even if
Yeah.
it's something small.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do herbs. It gives
that's a good distressor as well.
you can give them a task of watering, or let's do this together. This is a fun thing we can do. You can put the herbs in a pot, or you can do different vegetables that don't, like tomato plants, like the easiest thing. And something, if they watch it grow, if Eddie watched his tomato plant grow, he'd be so excited.
And I just tell him, I say, look, that's where ketchup comes from, which he wants to drink on a daily basis.
And and it gets them outside.
Exactly.
But one thing I want to know too. So do you now? You're currently, obviously, like the rest of us, you're doing tele sessions for nutrition consultation.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, I guess I didn't say this at the beginning, Navah. So I have I'm a nutritionist. I'm a clinical nutritionist with a master's in nutrition. I have a practice. I'm based in Pacific Palisades, but I'm definitely doing telehealth. And I work with a lot of individuals. I work with groups. I also do some, work in corporations. And I work with people basically on anything that ranges from, optimizing your health, feeling good, how to, be your best energetic, healthiest self, to weight management, to working with digestive issues, to working, I have a lot of clients with autoimmune issues. I, work with people on detoxification. So those are the things that I do. And I do, telehealth sessions online. And it's actually working out well. I did some of that, pre-pandemic as well. So
do we have our website?
Maddie, can you give us your website, and Matt will put it into our
Maddie Wolf, WOLF, mwolfnutrition.com.
mwolfnutrition.com.
Yeah.
Our producer's typing it in right now.
And I know this is a tough time for people. And
our producer doesn't know how to spell nutrition. Right. Wow.
But
Maddie, camp is ending, and then we're going to reopen in September, and I really want to get you involved with our families, and you and I are going to talk about that when camp is over. I can't even think straight when camp is going. But thank you so much for being on with us. I've wanted you to come on for so long.
My pleasure. You guys are doing great and amazing work. Thank you.
Give my best to Elena, and I miss her.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see her very soon, and God willing, we'll all be back together very soon.
Me too. She'd love to be anywhere but here.
Thank you so much, Maddie.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Well, what a wonderful show today.
I know. It's the main thing is you got to take it slowly at first, because if you just take away the chicken McNuggets, not chicken McNuggets, but the healthy chicken tenders.
Yes,
that's what I give
That's
Eddie.
right.
No, I'm kidding.
But no, I really liked her suggestion that maybe you cut up an apple and you leave it on the counter.
Best, and the everything
oranges,
drawer. The everything drawer. We're all going to do that.
So you redirect them to this other.
I love that.
So
I love that. I wanted to talk about this thing. You're wondering why we're so fidgety.
I have been just loving this.
So we're actually in the midst of our last week of Camp Ed mini camp, summer 2020, which is the greatest summer ever, isn't it?
So I'm so proud of you and the team.
I am so
really
proud of our
able
directors.
to do an in-person camp
Yes.
in the middle of this pandemic safely and successfully.
These two girls have really blown me away, and every single day is this incredible project that they're doing. And they were learning about clouds and different kinds of clouds. They created their own cloud with different parts and lightning bolts, and it was just incredible. But
meditation,
they created the other day.
This is just awesome.
And this is a squeeze ball.
Stress ball.
I forget what Aviva and Judy had a name for it, but of course I can't remember. But they're all different. Each kid kind of created his own pattern. they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. And so
And it's filled with,
I don't know what I'd do without
it's
mine.
one that they made at home. They chose to use flour.
Yeah.
So it's filled with
It's all
flour.
natural
so it's very
because God
soft.
forbid if somebody
Yeah.
bites into it, that it's nothing toxic in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just such a wonderful, that we're learning every day. The kids are learning about
Tools for
this-
calm.
tools for calm, but this week is about the different seasons. So every day is something, and they were learning about thunder and lightning and what do you do when something like that is happening? And everything is about being able to use it in their current situation. So
But they've been creative by describing these things, and then what's the undertone, like
Exactly.
attaching an emotion to it so that there's expression there as well. So they are able, so our students, our campers are able to express themselves through with
Tools.
these different tools
Yeah.
that they've created.
So thank you so much for joining us. Another mental wellness check-in. And we'll be here next Tuesday.
And we got a whole bunch of stuff coming up in,
Yes.
on our agenda. We're going to be creating some new shows with more fun topics in mind.
And August 29th, don't forget, our poker tournament is coming up. And you can find out more
Sign up
information at
online.
pokerwithed.com. And join us next week.
It's our telethon.
Yes.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
guys. Hi, I'm Navah Paskowitz-Asner. I'm the founder of the Ed Asner Family Center. Did you know that we have counseling services here at the center? And our goal is to not send families away based on their ability to pay. This is my mental health director.
Hi, I'm Chrisa Saad. I'm the licensed marriage family therapist, and we have availability for telehealth sessions. We also take insurance and private pay sliding scale. So please give me a call at 818-855-2199.
Take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. Call us today.